Time for new tools. Finally got myself a turbo air system test kit. Basically what it is a leak down test for boost leaks, or a kit that you can use to check for boost leaks. This is Mac Tools, and I'm sure it's made by somebody else and just rebadged or rebranded as Mac. So I could probably find this thing a lot cheaper, maybe half the price on eBay or whatnot. But you guys should know me by now. I like to go the simplest route rather than try to find stuff online. Spend time searching. When the tool truck guy comes by with a flyer and stuff is on special, hey, that's when I'm gonna go get it. And plus, if anything ever breaks, I have somebody to talk to complain about, etc. So as you can see here, this is quite an extensive kit. There's 12 components, 13 components counting the regulator. There's a big piece and a small piece. The big piece is the air in. You basically take off the air filter where the MAF sensor would be. You plug this guy in. That's where your compressed air goes. You attach your compressed air line and the regulator. There comes with the shut-off valve here. You turn it on and you regulate how much air. Usually, well, obviously your system, 15 psi or whatever. This gauge actually goes up to 70 psi, so lots of room for tuning on my end, on my car. And that's the other reason I bought it, is just on my car as well specifically. But there's been times when I wanted one of these or use something similar and I just didn't have anything, and I don't want to go to Home Depot or any type of hardware store to try to make up stuff with PVC plumbing and piping. So money spent here is definitely time saved. So anyways, you regulate it to whatever PSI that you want it at, 10 PSI, 15, 20, whatever. And then you take off the other end at the throttle body. Usually throttle body and onward in terms of intake manifold, that's usually going to be sealed tight unless you have had the intake off at one point in time or the intake bolts come loose and or PCV issues. But you would be able to diagnose those through fuel trim values. This is mainly for boost leaks after the turbo but before the throttle body. So you put this into the intake, you plug this one in at the throttle body to plug off the charge air coming in, and then you just crank up the pressure. Once the system is under pressure, you'll either hear air leaking or you won't. If you hear air leaking, then obviously you just follow the noise. If you don't hear any air leaking, but you suspect a leak, just use some Windex or some other type of soapy water and spray along suspect areas. And by suspect areas, I'm just talking about any type of fitting that involves clamps. You can actually see there's black felt lines that I marked here, and those lines will help me gauge whether or not under boost things will expand. This hose will want to push this way due to the bend, and then these hoses will want to push off the pipe. So if I see any type of movement from these marks away from the clamps, then I know that something is moving. And because these pipes go in fairly far, I have a bit of wiggle room, obviously. So any type of movement I would spot by way of keeping an eye on my black marks. So while the system is under pressure, I would basically block off this end, and I would block off the end down here where the blue hose is, and then pressurize it. I would check for leaks around here, any type of fittings here or there, the intercooler as well, all the little what do you call them, the actual core. Sometimes you get rock chips, that can puncture something. So anyways, that's what you'll be looking for in terms of boost leaks. Once you find the leak, then it's obviously just a matter of sealing it or correcting it. And like I said, various different sizes for various different applications. It even says in here that it can be used in cooling systems as well. If you want to pressurize the cooling system, you might only just have to use one of these, obviously the one with the attachment here, so you can pressurize the cooling system by taking a hose off. Actually, no, you would have to use the other side somehow to block it off. because once you take the hose off, you would have an opening. Long story short, this should help me out if and when I get boost leak concern codes. This is not a boost leak. This is not a boost leak. This is not a boost leak.
This is not a boost